I'm going to assume that if you're here watching this video that you've already seen Mob Psycho 100 or have some general knowledge of what the series is about. This video specifically is going to be focusing on Shigeo Kageyama, aka Mob, and Mogami. Shigeo is possibly the most powerful psychic in the world. He's a 14-year-old middle school boy who has a crush on a girl named Tsubomi-chan, who works at a spirits and such consultation office that exorcises evil spirits with his conman senpai. That's the wrong word. Shishu. He's got a younger brother named Ritsu. He loves milk, he's adorable, I love him, he is my fucking son. And also, he doesn't like using his powers. Mogami is without a doubt the most powerful evil spirit that has ever existed, possibly more powerful than Mob. And while he was alive, he was the most powerful psychic in the world. He was a bit of a celebrity in the world and he went down that dark path. His mother was dying from a mysterious disease that no one could treat, so he began to kill people for money with his psychic powers. And then his mom died, and then he spent the rest of his life basically exorcising evil spirits, but instead of sending them to the afterlife, he basically sucked them into himself and became part of that evil spirit so that he could become more powerful. So we have these two characters, two of the most powerful psychics that have ever existed, might be equal in power, at least when they were alive. Mogami has possessed the body of a young girl who is an asshole. Mob, Reagan, and Dimple can't fight her outside of her body, so Mob decides to astral project his consciousness into her body as well, basically having two spirits possessing her. And in that body, Mogami basically projects him into an alternate reality cursed world where he is bullied and criticized, my baby, and basically he doesn't have any friends and he's alone and it's so sad. Essentially, Mogami's trying to show Mob that without his psychic powers he would be nothing. He would have no one, and that the only way to become powerful and become happy, I suppose, is to use that power against other people that hurt you. So it's basically revenge. Mogami's like, get revenge on everyone and everything and you'll be happy. Mob overcomes this because Dimple shows up like a little snot and is like, yo, bitch, wake up, you've been in here for 6 months. But that's not the full story, because what Mob learns from this arc makes it the most powerful and important arc of the entire series so far. That's including the Reagan arc, because Mogami's arc directly influences the Reagan arc. Without Mogami, Mob never would have been able to save Tochihiro. And I'm gonna explain how. A lot of people's problems with this arc is that they think the toned down bullying makes it absolutely unbelievable that Mob would snap the way he does when he finally succumbs to Mogami's influence. But people forget that normal Mob would never snap because of this, because he had Reagan's teachings and Ritsu's kindness and all of his friends and family showing him the right path to follow. In this arc, he has none of that. This is not the Mob we know. This is not the Mob we have ever known. This is an alternate version of Mob where his psychic powers didn't come to fruition when he was like 5 years old. He doesn't know he has them until he's 14 and snaps because of his emotions. He is not the normal Mob. He is a version of Mob living in a hypothetical parallel world where he doesn't have powers, and more importantly, anyone he can rely on. He did not have Ritsu, he didn't meet Reagan or Dimple, he didn't have the job or join the Body Improvement Club, he didn't fall in love with Tsubomi, he never fought with Teru. He didn't have all of the things that make Mob the Mob we know today. So no, Mob didn't have to suffer more for it to be believable, because given his circumstances, it's a miracle he was able to endure this shit for 6 months. And I don't understand people's obsession with insert character has to be tortured for me to feel sorry for him. Like, what's wrong with you? If you want to watch torture porn, go watch SpongeBob. What Mob learned from this arc is that he has people around him who love him, who care about him, and it's his connection with these characters who has changed who he is and has turned him into the person that he's become. And the main message of this arc is the fact that people can change, and they change through interactions with others. Ritsu, without Mob, would have been a dick. We saw that when he got his powers. He would have been horrible. But because of Mob, he's shown kindness, he's shown love, he's shown how to use your powers for good instead of for your self-improvement and your own gain. That's the same teaching he taught to Teru. That's the same way that Mob has continuously changed all of the lives around him. And it's not only Mob doing this, it's Mob learning from what he's gained from other people and other experiences. That is how Mob overcame Mogami, through all of his interactions and the love and care of the people around him. It's because of all the little things that make him who he is. And the little things that make him who he is have been gained and absorbed through him willing to change, him willing to take the advice of everyone. And that's what the Mogami arc is. He overcomes Mogami because of the advice and the teachings and the influences of others. But he doesn't just ignore Mogami entirely. He takes something from Mogami as well. And now we see where season 2 is taking us. It's a chain reaction. It's the butterfly effect. He influences the end of the world arc with everything that he does.
成長したな、お前。
Without Mogami's influence, Mob never would have left Reigen. If Mob never would have left Reigen, Reigen never would have tried to make it big on his own, and he never would have realized how lonely he was and how much of a screw-up and a fuck-up he truly was when his one friend, a 14-year-old boy, and his sidekick, an evil dead ghost snot monster, leave him. This is how he's directly influencing the Reigen arc. Before Mogami, Mob probably would have just gone along with what Reigen had said. He now recognizes that Reigen has been sort of taking advantage of him. Reigen learns from Mob because Mob learned from Mogami. Reigen learns that he needs to stop taking advantage of other people. He learns he should stop lying so much. He learns that he's lonely and that he needs to value other people more than just success. And this arc was only 2 episodes, and it was so good. And Mogami's arc was also only 2 episodes, but it influences the rest of the series. In particular, Mogami was the catalyst for Mob's growing trust in Dimple, allowing him to invert a 1,000-some%, we don't even know the percentage, catastrophe, and instead spill into 100% tenacity. I honestly don't think he could have prevented that disaster if it weren't for Dimple. Dimple coming in and waking him up from the Mogami arc in the first place is what places that trust in Dimple, and now Mob has trust that Dimple's telling him the truth, that his family is safe, and so he doesn't completely blow up the entire city and possibly the island of Japan.
僕は本当に何一つ人の役に立たないと思ってたこの力で人を生かすんだ
Mob's ability and willingness to fight to protect people who cannot protect themselves made manifest a 100% courage. Previously, when put in a position where he would have to fight, he was emotionally unable to, and Reigen stepped in. That's the big difference, I think, between season 1 and season 2, where it was Mob learning that you don't have to fight, and season 2 was Mob learning that you can fight if you need to. It isn't that Mob became more violent as a person as much as his resolve to fight when needed was solidified.
Get out of her. Leave her.
You still don't understand, do you? This was a trap. I allowed you inside deliberately. I've got another question for you. Take 2 people, one who lives happily and another living in misery. Which of these 2 people has stronger feelings?
Mob's understanding that not everybody in the world is lucky enough to share his circumstances. And this is so important. And it leads him to befriend Serizawa. Serizawa, the best boy on the planet, the best character. I know I said Mob was my favorite character, but like, fuck that kid, Serizawa. No, I love Mob so much, but Serizawa Katsuya is my umbrella, Crocs wearing, garbage man. I love him. He's gonna be the best man at my wedding. It led him to befriend Serizawa, forgive Sho, and also feel compassion for Tochihiro, reflecting on his understanding of the loneliness it feels like to be completely on your own in the world. He never would have experienced that if it wasn't for Mogami, because he's always had people around him who love him and understand him. And now that he understands that loneliness to an extent that he didn't before, He now has sympathy and empathy for this evil rat bastard eyebrow man. Mob's realization that everybody, including himself, can change for the worse, which prevents him from divorcing Tochihiro's megalomania from himself as a mirror of one of the possible futures, and prevented him from turning the issue and story into a black and white, I'm good, you are evil, and realizing that there are a million different circumstances and reasons and understandings that lead characters to behave the way that they do. And all of this stuff that he learned from the Mogami arc is affecting him, affecting other people, and thus they are changing too. Saving Minageshi from the released Mogami in turn resulted in Minageshi saving lives of those thrown from the skyscraper by Tochihiro, and Mob befriending Serizawa makes Serizawa betray Tochihiro and join the good side. And that in turn allowed Mob's other philosophy that anybody can change for the better, if they so desire, to saving Tochihiro's life with the broccoli. Season 1, as I already said, is learning that you don't have to fight, versus Season 2 teaching us that you can fight, but for the right reasons. We can't just sit in a corner ignoring everybody because we're sad and depressed and we're not taking showers. We have to talk to people. We have to socially interact with people, even if we don't want to. And the thing is, people who watch anime in the first place are probably introverts who don't really have a life. Mob's purpose is to tell us that we can change, but we have to put in the effort to change. We have to listen to tough advice from people that we don't like Mogami, who is an asshole, but he had a couple valid points, and the entire circumstances involved in that arc is what led Mob to save the fucking world.
I still have a choice, and I control my own destiny. I get to be the protagonist. It's my life.
Thank you for watching. If you would like to check out some of the other videos I have on my channel, all you gotta do is go to my channel and check them out. You can click subscribe down below, and if you liked this video, you can give it a like if you liked it, if you like. I will see you guys in the next weird ramblings at 3 a.m. And in the meantime, learn to love yourself and learn to love other people. Bye!